What is going on, nerds? Welcome back to JDSNerdVerse. We are doing a Pokemon kind of ranking video today. We're doing a Pokemon ranking video today of the top flying normal type Pokemon in Gen 1. We have 4 candidates for this. Spearow, who evolves into Fearow, Farfetch'd, who has no evolution, Pidgey, who evolves into Pidgeotto, who evolves into Pidgeot, and we also have Dudo, who evolves into Dugtrio. Okay, so these 4 Pokemon, there are other flying types. Let me just clarify that. There is Zubat is flying poison. You have the 3 legendary birds. You might even have a bug or 2 might qualify for this. However, this is just flying normal. These are the regional normal flying birds that every game has. So I'm going to rank these from best to worst to best. Now, what are the criteria for this? I'm going to go over that real quick. You can't just go off time. 2 of these Pokemon were like one of the first 6 Pokemon I played through as. So their time is going to be much different than the last 2, because the last 2 have the benefit of me playing with them last. So their runs are going to be a little bit better. Okay. Does that mean I need to go back and replay Pidgey and Spearow? No. I know what they did. I know where they struggled. Regardless of whatever I do, it's not going to change that, and I think it's not going to change the outcome that some of these Pokemon are faster than others. Okay. So I can't just go off time. I also can't go off stats. If we go off stats, probably the worst one on this list would be number 2 because of its stats. But its stats aren't the thing. Moveset will be all those things are factors, but I can't go off just one individual metric. I gotta go off moves and overall just feel of the playthrough. This is kind of how I gotta go here. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Make sure you comment down below who do you think is the best, and give everyone a couple seconds. Who do you think was the best Pokemon normal flying type in Gen 1. Give it about 5 seconds for everyone to comment, and then we'll dive into the actual list here. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Good. I hope you commented. I'm glad you did. Now, let's go down to the last one, who is my least favorite flying type in Gen 1. So it brings me great joy to say this is the worst flying type in Gen 1. Alright? Now, this Pokemon, you gotta look at its stats. It actually has some really good stats. 469 total base power. However, Gen 1, we don't have special defense or special attack. It's just special. So we have to subtract 70 out of that. So its base stat total is 399. Okay, so not horrible. It's actually the second highest of all 4 of these birds. And it's only behind the other one by 1 point. 1 stat point. Okay, so stats aren't the issue with this Pokemon. It's actually pretty well distributed. Okay, the problem with this Pokemon is its moveset. The moveset for this Pokemon, now you're looking at the moveset for Pidgeot, not Pidgey. Okay, but if you look at it, you start out with Gust and Sand Attack. You get Quick Attack at level 12, Whirlwind level 21, Wing Attack at 31, Agility, Mirror Move. So you only have really 3 damage dealing moves: Gust, Quick Attack, and Wing Attack. Now here's why this Pokemon does not do as well as the others. The other Pokemon, all 3 of the other ones, start the game with Peck. Peck is a much better move to have early game than Gust. Gust is higher base power. It technically is. It's 40, whereas Peck is 35. However, Gust does not have in the early game, you face a lot of bug trainers. And you also face Brock Gym. Bugs are weak in flying moves, are super effective against bugs. Gust is considered normal. I don't know why it's considered normal, but it is considered normal. So your move, though it is stab, is not having super effectiveness like a Peck would. A Peck also has stab. So you're missing out on that. That's the big one. And then when you face Brock, you don't have a move that can do a little bit more damage. He's going to resist your normal move. He's going to resist Quick Attack and Gust. He's going to resist both of them. So you got to get by on playing the buy game. And you have to do that regardless. But I just think the early game is not quite as easy for Pidgey and Pidgeotto and Pidgeot as it is for all the other 3 Pokemon. Okay? And in the late game, middle game, you with this Pokemon, you get Wing Attack. Now, Wing Attack in Gen 1 is actually a very poor attack. 35 base power, 100% accurate, so that's good. So with Stab, it's about a 52 base power move, roughly. It's about 52.5 base power. So not super great, and that's the strongest move you get via level up. Whereas 2 of the other 3 Pokemon, they get Drill Peck. Okay? So you're getting a Wing Attack, a flying type move that is equivalent to the move the other Pokemon start the game with. You get that at like level late 20s, I think, with Pidgey and Pidgeotto. It's not level 31. It's late 20s. So that's the best flying move you can get via level up. Okay, now if you look at TM moveset's not horrible. You get access to most of the same moves as everyone else. There's just not a lot of moves there. So you technically can get access to fly, so you gotta use fly more than the other Pokemon. Don't have to use fly, they can use drill peck. Okay. You also get access to fly attack, which fly attack's not great, but you don't get access to the best normal type move you can get. I know Hyper Beam is 150 base power, but everyone here, let's be honest, the best normal type move to get in the game is Body Slam. You get it so early, it's 85 base power, it's 100% accurate, okay, and it's very useful in any playthrough, especially with any normal type Pokemon. If you don't get access to that, you're going to get nerfed pretty quickly. And Sky Attack, you can get access to it, it's not the best, it's listed as the best when it comes to base stat. 140 power points. 140 power, whatever you want to call it. Okay? But it's not. And when I get to the next Pokemon, I'll explain why Sky Attack is not the best flying type in Gen 1. Flying type move. Okay? So Pidgey has good stats. Like I said, it has better stats than two of the three that are left. But its moveset is what kills it. Not having Peck, not getting access to Drill Peck, and also not having Body Slam. If it had Body Slam, you might be able to mitigate not having Peck or Drill Peck. The fact you don't have either one of those, you got to hang on to Wing Attack just to get through Pokemon Tower. Whereas Drill Peck, you'll one-shot everything, but Wing Attack's is so weak compared to that. Fly ends up being your primary flying type move, which is not bad, but it takes more time because you have to take 2 turns to do it. It is 70 base power, so you do get 105 base power move out of that, but it's not 100% accurate like Drill Peck. So that's why it is the worst flying normal type in Gen 1. Moving on to Fearow, which is for a long time was my favorite. Now I've kind of turned my changed a little bit because I've never played through these other 2 Pokemon. However, Fearow, look at its base stat, 442. We got subtract out 61, so you're looking at 460 or 81 base power. So not horrible, but not great. So you have lesser stats than Pidgeot. So you should be starting a little bit less than Pidgeot already. However, its moveset is what makes it better than Pidgeot. Peck and Drill Peck. You get access to both of them. You also get access to Fury Attack. So Peck is good because, like I said, early game, there's a lot of bugs. You're going to have a super effective move against those bugs, and you're going to do a lot of damage. You're pretty much going to one-shot every bug. You have a better move to deal with Brock than Pidgey did. You also, you get Fury Attack. I actually think Fury Attack is better than the Quick Attack. And better than Gust, because it can hit multiple times. If you get a critical, you get a critical on all of them. The only downside to it, it is 85% accurate. However, it's still a great move to pair with Peck. You have Growl, you have Leer. Leer lowers the opposition's defense. So that can make both of your moves that much more effective when you have Leer. Pidgey did not have Leer. I think Pidgey had Growl and Sand Attack. So missing out on those 2 moves early gives Spearow the significant advantage over Pidgey. And then you also got to add in the fact you get the best flying move in Gen 1. You get level 34, you get Drill Peck. I think we get a little bit earlier than that. No, actually, I think we evolve into Spearow. It evolves into Fearow at level 22 or something like that. So we get Drill Peck at level 34, which is perfect for the mid-game now. I said I was going to say this and explain this. Drill Peck is the best flying type move in Gen 1. Here's why. Let's look at Sky Attack, which is a higher base power move. So I'll give you that. I'll give that to anyone who wants to argue this. It's 140 base power. Okay? With Stab, you're looking at 210 base power move. Okay? So 140 times 1.5 is 210. Okay? Now here's what the move does. First turn, you fly up in the air. Okay? You take a whole turn just like Fly. Then you come back down and do massive damage. I'm not negating the massive damage part. However, here's why it's not as good. 1, you cannot use Sky Attack on anything that's like ground. Or that's like never mind, you can't use that anyways. That's a bad argument. It's bad because you have a turn where you're doing nothing. At least with Fly, if you use Fly, when you fly up, they can't hit you. Okay? Sky Attack, you have a whole turn where you're susceptible to getting hit. That means you have a whole turn where you can get knocked out, you can get paralyzed, you can get poisoned, you can put to sleep, you can get confused. And not to mention, it's 90 base power or a 90 accuracy, so you could miss. And then you only have 5 power points for this whole move. So you can miss one time, and you may not even have enough to get through an entire team in the Elite Four. Okay, so that's why Sky Attack's not as good. So over 2 turns, you do 210 damage. Mathematically, Drill Peck is better. Drill Peck is 100% accurate, so you're less likely to miss. Okay, except for that 1 in 256 Gen 1 miss that, the probability is out there. 80 base power, times it by 1.5. It's 120 base power move. So you can do that back-to-back moves rather than flying up. So that gives you the possibility of knocking out the opposition with a 120 base power move. Okay? So you can knock them out before they even get a chance to hit you. That's where Drill Peck has an advantage over Sky Attack. You also have less likelihood to miss. So over 2 turns, you can deal 240 damage. Whereas Sky Attack over 2 turns is susceptible to getting hit multiple times, or getting hit. You could miss, and it does 210. So Drill Peck is just a better move all around. It's a much better move, more reliable. You get it much earlier in the game. Sky Attack you can't even get until the Elite Four. So there's kind of no point at that point. Alright? So that is why Spearow is better than Pidgey. Its moveset made it so the early and middle game are pretty easy. Now, here's why it's not as good as the other two. If you look at its level up, or a TM moveset, it does not have Body Slam. I think that is the one thing holding this Pokemon. If it had Body Slam, it would probably be a 3-way race for the best flying type in Gen 1. Flying normal type. But the fact that it does not get anything to do with Body Slam really does hurt it, because your best normal move is still Fury Attack. Okay? And the only thing you can replace that with really is a move you can hurt yourself with. I guess Swift is pretty good, but you don't get that until after Rock Tunnel. So you can't use Body Slam to get through Lieutenant Surge. So you either have to be over leveled to fight Lieutenant Surge and get Drill Peck, or you have to, and that means you have to double back. So you have to level up early and get level 34 to fight him, or you have to double back and do it. Both of those things take time. Where if you just had Body Slam as a stab, normal type move, you could probably knock all 3 of them out in one hit. And you outspeed. You definitely have good speed, so that's not the issue. So, but that's why Spearow/Fearow is not as highly ranked on this list as the other two. Now, down to 2. Down to 2 Pokemon, Farfetch'd and Dugtrio. This is such a hard... I literally racked my brain around this for the last 3 weeks. When I decided I was going to do this video, I legit racked my brain around this for a good 3 weeks, trying to figure out how I was going to rank this. So you can go back and forth either way. So if we just look at time, I don't have the time listed here for both Pokemon. These Pokemon are literally almost the same exact time. There's a second apart. So 1 second separates these two. It's like 1 hour and 13 minutes and 36 seconds or something like that. And one's 35 seconds. So they're both the same exact time. Okay? So that's something I can't go. I can't go like, well, Dugtrio finished the game 10 minutes faster than Farfetch'd. Obviously, that's the winner. No, it's a second apart. That literally can be chalked up to gamer error. It could have been doing something. I could have been paused for a second to take a drink of my soda. And that could be the 1 second variance that we have there. So you can't go off time. Okay? We cannot go off time with this. So we have to go off other things. So let's look at stats. So if you look at stats, Dugtrio has the best stats for flying normal type in Gen 1. It's 460. However, you guys subtract out 60 because we don't have special defense. We just have special. So we're looking at 400 base power, or stat points. That's 1 ahead of Pidgeot. And looking at Farfetch'd is looking at 290. So you have over 100 more stats than Dugtrio. And you can look at that and say, okay, well, Dugtrio has better stats. He should be, your number 1. However, I look at Farfetch'd and say, you had a lower stat total. You had a lower stat total than the opposition, and you only finished a second slower. I think that's a virtue for Farfetch'd. There's something going on with Farfetch'd that makes him that much better than Dugtrio. Okay? In my opinion, that's a virtue. The fact that you had a lower stat total than the opposition. I don't think any stats higher than his. No. Across the board, none of the stats are higher. And you finished the game 1 second slower than Dugtrio. To me, that's a virtue. You're a more efficient Pokemon, I guess. If you had the same stats as Dugtrio, this wouldn't even be a contest. Okay, so let's look at level up moveset. So level up moveset with these Pokemon, both start with Peck. Now here's where Farfetch'd gets the edge. Its early game moveset is Peck, Sand Attack. You start out with that. You get Leer at level 7, and you get Fury Attack. Okay, that is a much better moveset than Dudo. Now Dudo, this is listing Dugtrio's moveset. But Dudo only starts with Peck until level 20. You don't have Growl. You don't have Fury Attack. Okay, you don't get Growl level 20. So we have to beat Brock without being able to pick another move for the bye game. Whereas with Farfetch'd, we did not have that issue. Farfetch'd, we had Peck, and we had Sand Attack. We got Leer, and we had Fury Attack. So we had 2 moves to help take out Brock. Even though we're less powerful than Dudo, we were able to actually take out Brock much faster. We had much more move variance there. and we have more flexibility early. Whereas Dugtrio, there was this what level would I have to get at to beat Brock with just one move. So that was a huge advantage for Farfetch'd. And then you also have another huge advantage for Farfetch'd. At a very, very early level, before we even face Misty, we got Swords Dance. Swords Dance to me is the best stat modifying move in Gen 1. It takes your attack stat up 2 stages. Okay? But it also does its badge boost glitch. Now, early in the game, you don't really get a lot of badge boosts other than attack. Because if you don't know, in Gen 1, every other gem, every odd number gem, you get a stat boost. You get, Brock gives you attack stat, Lieutenant Surge should give you speed, because that's electric Pokemon are fast, but he gives you defense. Koga gives you actual speed. And then, I don't remember if it's Blaine or Sabrina, but one of those two gives you special boost. I think it's Blaine. I think it's Blaine that gives you the special boost. So, yeah, your stats get, and when you do Swords Dance, not only do you boost your attack stat, but every one of those gyms, every one of those stats that you have a gym that you beat, ups all those stats by 12.5% every time. So, and what's good about Swords Dance is if you level up in the middle of the battle, so that resets your stats back, Swords Dance keeps your attack high, but all the other stats go back down. Whereas with all the other bird types, agility ups your speed. Now, most flying types are actually Farfetch'd is probably the slowest flying type we have, but most flying types are fast. So agility just ups your speed. It does the badge boost, so it'll boost your stats, it'll boost your attack, your special, your defense. But Swords Dance just does it better, and if you level up when you're doing agility, you're just still a fast Pokemon, but your attack and stuff isn't as good. So that's why Swords Dance is the best stat modifying move in Gen 1, in my opinion, because of that. Now, it also, and then the last thing, Farfetch'd gets is Slash. Slash is great because it's normal type, so it's 105 base power with your stab. It's 100% accurate. It just doesn't coincide very well with Swords Dance. If this Pokemon had Drill Peck, this wouldn't be a competition, I can promise you that. But it doesn't, so it gets Slash instead of Drill Peck. Good move, solid. It just doesn't coincide very well with Swords Dance, but still a very solid move to have. Now, here's where Dugtrio has an edge. Dugtrio gets Drill Peck, the best flying type move in Gen 1. Farfetch'd had to use Fly as its late game flying move for stab. Okay? Dugtrio does not. Drill Peck is 80 base power, 120 total with stab, 100% accurate. So we've gone over that. We've already understand that that's what this Pokemon has, so that's a huge edge over Farfetch'd. It also gets Tri-Attack. So both these Pokemon get access to Body Slam, but Tri-Attack is unique, and it does electric, fire, and ice damage. So it has a 120 base power move that can damage. It would be super effective against all 3 things that are weak to those: the ice, the electric, or the fire. Okay. So you have that. You do have agility, and like I said, agility is great, but it's not as good as Swords Dance. So those things kind of counter each other pretty well. One gets this, but one gets this. So you can't really go solely off moveset either. And then when you look at TM moveset is practically identical. You both get Body Slam. The only difference in the 2 movesets really is Dugtrio doesn't get Razor Wind, which Razor Wind's not a good move anyway. But Farfetch'd gets Swords Dance, but Dugtrio gets Tri-Attack. Everything else, practically the same. Both get Skull Bash. Actually, one doesn't get Sky Attack, but Sky Attack's useless, like I said. And one doesn't get Swift. So that's really the trade-off there. I don't think either one of them are super great moves anyway. You have Body Slam, you're gonna have Body Slam, you have Peck and Fly. You have all those moves, and you have Double Edge, not Double Edge, Swords Dance. You do have Double Edge, but you don't have to use Double Edge. But Body Slam is good use for both of these. So these pretty much match up as well. There's not a huge difference here. So whenever I look at this, I got to think, which Pokemon do I think is better? So I'm going to go the second best Pokemon, flying normal type. I'm going to let you pick. I've narrowed it down. So if you commented once thinking who the best was, go ahead and go comment again and say who you think the best flying normal type Pokemon in Generation 1 is. I'll give you about 5 seconds, take a drink of my drink, and then we'll dive into who I think the second best is. That could have been bad. All right, 3, 2, 1. It's Dugtrio. Dugtrio, he has better stats. He does win in that category, but like I said, he doesn't have the fact that the Farfetch'd. Why he's better than the other 2? Why he's better than Pidgey, and why he's better than Spearow. So Pidgey and Spearow, like I said, don't get access to Body Slam. That's their biggest downfall. They don't get access to Body Slam. So therefore, they don't have a really good normal type move until later in the game when they can use double edge, but that has recoil damage. So it's not the greatest. You can't use Skull Bash. I guess Skull Bash wouldn't be bad, but Skull Bash is 2 turns, and you can attack during doing it, when you're doing it. So it's not great. Takedown, same thing. So Body Slam is just a move, and as a flying type, you have to get past Brock's gym, or Lieutenant Surge's gym. Body Slam is your unlock code to get past his gym. If you don't have access to Body Slam, you either got to overlevel to fight Lieutenant Surge, or you got to backtrack to fight Lieutenant Surge. Okay? So that's the downside to this, is you don't get access to the move that gives you the ability to potentially knock out Lieutenant Surge's Pokemon in one go. You're going to outspeed most of them. You're flying type. But the fact that Pidgey and Spearow, Fearow and Pidgeot don't have access to Body Slam is why this Pokemon's better. The stats are not much difference between this and Pidgeot. And Pidgeot was actually the slowest playing time. It's like 2 hours and 13 minutes. Like I said, Spearow would probably be a contender if it had Body Slam, because it can get through the middle game a little bit better, but it doesn't have anything to mitigate electric moves. So that is why. Now, here's why I did not beat Farfetch'd. And Farfetch'd is the number 1, just so everyone knows. So I'm going to go back to Dudo real quick. So Dudo did not beat Farfetch'd because really what it comes down to with it is, 1, its early game moveset is just not as good as Farfetch'd. If it had Farfetch'd moveset, like if you look at Gen 2, like if I were to show you the stats for Gen 2, there's definitely ways you could get through the first gen with the Gen 2 stats, or Gen 2 moves, but not Gen 1. You have to wait 15 levels to get an extra move. If you just had Growl to start with, you could probably beat Brock's gym in like 12 minutes. Because you have better stats, you're faster, all those things are better than Farfetch'd. But the problem is you don't have another move, so Farfetch'd moveset compensates for his lack of stats in a lot of ways. Farfetch'd moveset, like Swords Dance, for example, he can not only if you wanted to with this Pokemon, you could have Swords Dance and Agility, and you could badge boost your attack, up your speed super fast, and you could badge boost your Agility to up your attack again, if you wanted to. This Pokemon has this ability, and has it way earlier and in spades over Dugtrio, or Dudo and Dugtrio. So that's one downside, is it doesn't have, Dugtrio does not have a better early game moveset. Or Dudo, I should say. Dugtrio does. If we start with Dugtrio, he'd start with that, and he'd probably get through the game a little bit faster. That'd be a different comparison. But when we play through with Dudo, we have to evolve him, just like we evolve all the Pokemon. We've done that in every playthrough I've done. I'm not evolved the Pokemon. Unless it might help me get a move quicker. That would be the only reason I do that. Okay? And then if you look at middle game, yes, Drill Peck and Tri-Attack are great. However, with access to Swords Dance, every move turns into Drill Peck and Tri-Attack and things like that. You can boost every attack up so powerful that, like, I think we 2-shot a Rhyhorn, which is usually resisted to flying type. Okay, we 2-shot a Rhyhorn with Body Slam. Okay, I'm sorry, it's resisted to normal attack. Okay, with Farfetch'd, we badge boosted, and we were able to clean house with Giovanni, and I actually thought Giovanni would be one of our hardest fights with Farfetch'd, but it wasn't. So that helps there. And then you look at late game. On late game, they're kind of even. Like, neither one of them had super issues. They both had Body Slam. They both had a badge boosting. This Dugtrio had Agility, Swords Dance, and Mimic and whatnot. We both have access to the same moves, so the end of the game wasn't much different. The only difference is one's boosting your attack, one's boosting your speed. And the one that boosts your speed was the one that ended up winning this. So now go to Farfetch'd, which is, I think, the best flying type of Gen 1. Like I said, lower stats. It's the lowest stats of all 4 of these Pokemon, and still, in my opinion, it's the best. I could have probably cut... Honestly, I probably could cut off Dudo and Farfetch'd. Might have to do like a head-to-head matchup, see how the final evolutions compare with all these. That might be like something I do in the future once I've beaten all 151, the game with all 151. But Farfetch'd, to me, is the best flying normal type in Generation 1. Yes, stats are low, but the fact that stats are low and it still beat all the other 3 just shows how immensely good this Pokemon is. I keep talking about a thing called stat variance. When you don't have a lot of variance in your stats, that means you don't have a weakness. This Pokemon does not have a weakness. There's nothing that said, like, that's going to cost us, that's going to cost... No. And even with the stats not being as high as the other Pokemon, its moveset drastically compensates. If this Pokemon had Drill Peck, it wouldn't even be a competition. I'm confident if this Pokemon were to somehow be able, if I can modify the game and add Drill Peck in it, like level 28 or something, this wouldn't even be close. It wouldn't even be a close battle at all, because I wouldn't have to use Fly. I could actually use the most powerful flying type move in Gen 1 instead of using Fly. And that would cut out a lot of time because Fly is a 2-turn move. So that's my video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Do you like these kind of breaking down the stats of the Pokemon? And like I said, this and Dodrio were only 1 second apart. Okay, that could be chalked up to a lot of things. That's why I can't go solely off time, but the fact that they're on time, and Dodrio actually went second. So Dudo actually got to see where Farfetch'd could and would have had struggles, and I was able to play based on that knowledge. Farfetch'd didn't. Farfetch'd, the only flying type I played prior to that was Spearow and Pidgey, and I played them, I think this is February right now. I think I played them last June or something. It's been so long since I played with them. So, yeah, but that's the video. I want to thank everyone for watching. This has been JDSNerdVerse. This is a Wednesday, which is supposed to come out. So if you're watching this now, make sure you check out my channel on Friday. We should be having another playthrough coming out this Friday. Okay? I think it's the Grimer playthrough, which was a very fun, very interesting playthrough. So I hope you enjoy this video and more to come. Thanks for watching JDSNerdVerse. Have a good one.